and the Todd Family YouTube video, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate if you jump on here live here on this Sunday evening. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. We've been talking about the NCAA tournament all weekend long. On Friday, I talked about Thursday's games. On Saturday, I talked about Friday's games. So tonight, I want to talk about yesterday's games. And tomorrow, we'll talk about today's games. I like to stay a day behind because, for one, hey there, Marcus. Glad to have you here. Not everybody gets to watch every game live, especially those of us that have regular everyday jobs. We can't watch, 14, 13 hours of basketball every day when we're at work, most of those hours. So some folks go back and watch them later on. So I don't want to spoil it. I feel like giving you a whole day is giving you plenty of time to watch a game from, the day before if you had to work or, whatever. But between work and most people having kids and grandkids, not everybody can watch 4 straight days of basketball, sun to sundown from basically noon Eastern time till, at least midnight Eastern time. So I like to stay a day behind to give one time to watch the games they, want to watch. But after yesterday, we're halfway to the Sweet 16. 8 teams won yesterday. Michigan defeated St. Louis 95-72. Michigan State beat Louisville 77-69. Duke beat TCU 81-58. Houston all over Texas A&M 88-57. Texas beat Gonzaga 74-68. Illinois beats VCU by 21 points, 76-55. Nebraska was the very last, what they would call Power 4 program in college football to win a NCAA tournament basketball game by winning on Thursday, and they won again yesterday, so now they're in the Sweet 16. They defeat Vanderbilt 74-72. Arkansas defeats High Point 94-88. So we have Michigan, Michigan State, Duke, Houston, Texas, Illinois, Nebraska, and Arkansas. And that's one half of the Sweet 16. And after today, we'll have the other half. We'll talk about that tomorrow. There's only one game still in progress, and they're more than halfway through the second half. It should be wrapping up here about 12:15, 12:20 on the East Coast. And unless we see a huge comeback, the winner of that game's already been decided. But this is a fantastic time of the year because you have the NCAA basketball tournament going on for the men and the women now. And of course, NASCAR season is underway. The Masters is coming up in a couple of weeks, and the Masters is kind of like Daytona 500 in NASCAR. It's kind of like the Super Bowl in football. If you're just a casual golf fan and you watch one tournament a year, it's the Masters, and that's coming up right around the corner. Major League Baseball starts this week. So it's a very, 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 very busy time if you're a sports fan in general, not just a fan of one sport. If you just like one sport, if your sport's not going on, you don't care. But I know some people just like one certain sport, whatever that sport may be. Some folks just like baseball. Some just like basketball. Some just like football. Some just like NASCAR. But a lot of people just like sports in general because they enjoy the competitiveness of sports. No matter what it is, they enjoy seeing people, put it all on the line. But I know a guy that only likes racing. It don't matter what kind it is. If there's racing on, he'll watch it. And he's got 2 or 3 channels on his TV that are dedicated to racing. And that's all he watches. He don't care if it's NASCAR, if it's dirt car, if it's modified, if it's Australian V8 supercars. He don't care. He just likes to watch. He don't care about no other sport except racing. And he watches some kind of racing sun up to sundown every day. But the good thing about racing is if you're a big, huge racing fan, you can pretty much stay busy all year long, because with motocross starting in January, racing pretty much goes year round. And you can pretty much find a race on just about every day somewhere. Whereas in other sports, they don't go on but, 5 or 6 months. So the rest of the year, you're having to go back and watch old games and replays. Whereas in racing, it's pretty much almost like wrestling. It's a year-round thing. So if you're a racing fan, you've never got to worry about trying to find a race on TV, because you're going to find one somewhere that might have been last week or last month, but it's been pretty recent. Whereas in other sports, you might find a game on, but it might be from 20 years ago. And some folks don't like that. Some folks want, the more recent stuff. But, he was a racing fan like that and still is. But there's people that are that way with every sport. I know folks that watch baseball, love baseball, dedicate their lives to baseball, but don't give a rip about any other sport. To them, the only sport is baseball. So you have people that only dedicate themselves to one sport, and then you have some that dedicate themselves to sports in general. So if you're just a sports fan in general and you just love sports and the nature of the competitiveness in sports, this is your time of the year. But any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Yesterday, my wife thought she saw a cockroach in the kitchen. She sprayed everything down and cleaned thoroughly. Today, I'm putting the cockroach in the bathroom. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3.